2. Go. You're up.
Hey nerds, how's it going? I'm George here with my co-host Daniel on this cold and blustery Saturday afternoon. At least it's cold and blustery here. Daniel, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, and it's not really that cold or blustery here. A little windy, but we're supposed to be up in the 50s today, so I'm and sunny, so I'm really happy. Plan on hopefully getting out for a walk or something today.
Nice. Yeah, I took the dog outside and he was not having it this morning. About
Yeah,
30 degrees. We got about an inch and a half of snow.
I just took my dog out, and she didn't want to come back inside.
Nice.
But yeah.
So what have you been up to in the last week?
Well, the last week, I've had a little more time lately, so I got to play a little more Devil May Cry. Still loving that game. A lot of fun. Still been watching How I Met Your Mother, just because it's a great show to have in the background because I've watched it so many times, and it still cracks me up. I did start watching Game of Thrones again. Just started it, so I'm only a couple episodes in. I'm going back to the beginning because I was only into season 4 last time. So when I started back over, get back into it. And then just today, I decided to go ahead and download World of Warcraft again. I used to be huge into it, haven't played it in forever, and talking to an old friend of mine who's watching, hi Christian, about World of Warcraft, and she and I used to play, so I figured get back on and join up with her again.
Right on.
Yeah. So what about you? What you been up to?
Well, real quick, I wanted to touch. I also stopped Game of Thrones after season 4, but I was reading the books at the time, and I wanted to read the book before I watched the season, and then I quit reading the 5th book. And at this point, I'm just gonna wait till the whole series is done and out on Blu-ray, and just binge it all.
Yeah, I can't blame you there.
So, I've been playing The Division 2, which is a lot of fun. I just hit level 30, this morning. Last night or this morning? This morning. Some, into the end game crunch. And I started playing a game called Trine 2 on the Switch. It's a puzzle platformer.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah, I got a review code from the developer, and they've got a 4th one coming out on all platforms later this year. And I think next month on the Switch, they're releasing the complete edition.
Nice.
Which has 1 through 3, but they're interesting little puzzle platformers. There's really not a lot of combat in them. They're fantasy based. It's a lot of using the different abilities of the 3 characters to creatively solve puzzles and defeat monsters.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun so far. I like it. I'll be playing a lot of it when I'm in Boston next week.
Why stop? Oh my God, George, I got 1-7, Keith Falcon says.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, nice.
Talking about Game of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'll borrow them from you, Keith, when the time comes. Yeah, Trine is fun. And I've been watching some documentaries.
Yeah.
But
you always watch documentaries.
I do. I like documentaries.
I like how you say documentaries.
Documentaries?
Or
documentaries. Documentaries. I've never heard someone say it like that before.
Documentaries.
Close. We're getting there.
The way you pronounce the Terries is, I've never heard someone pronounce it like that.
No, I pronounced the A.
Yeah.
I was watching one from James May. He's one of the Top Gear Grand Tour hosts. And it's about the people's cars. That was interesting. And another Top Gear host, Richard Hammond, has one. I think it's called Crash Course.
Oh, good.
He uses heavy equipment and stuff like that. But
nice.
Yeah, and other than that, I've just been prepping for PAX East. I think I'm up to like 29 games I'm going to demo now.
Nice.
So I'm going to be quite busy. So, been working on that a lot. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into our topic this week.
Absolutely.
Advances in technologies affecting gaming.
Yes.
All right.
It's
Well,
pretty
why don't you
crazy
start?
out there. Okay, yeah, I mean, obviously technology has been advancing just so fast. I mean, you look, just 10 years ago where we were at and where we're at now, it's ridiculous.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, shoot, it wasn't, it was in my lifetime that you really, had internet and cell phones and digital content that all of that's come about, and it's just kind of snowballed to where now the technology advances. Rather than being big advancements every year, it's like every month we're seeing big ones, and with that it's really affecting our gaming,
Hmm.
and in a lot of ways really good, and other ways, I don't know. I think sometimes they try to do too much too fast, and it uh, kind of bites them in the behind. But
Yeah.
in a lot of this, we see the especially a lot of it has to do with getting things smaller. The microchips, and just all of that has to be smaller so they can then fit more in, and make them faster without taking up more space and so on. So that's really been a big one. I mean, you look at how the portable age that we are in right now, cell phones, the Switch, and so on. And I think that especially is a huge benefit for gaming, obviously, and just technology and humanity in general. We're able to do things now that we couldn't have imagined a few decades ago.
Yeah.
Just I mean, you look at this right here is more powerful than the most powerful computer that filled an entire room just in the 80s. I mean, this holds more power than anything they could have fit in a
A
room.
PlayStation
And
2 has more computing power than the lunar lander did.
right, exactly. And it's great. It's awesome. I love it. The Switch especially, it highlights that to me. The amount of technology that's in just such a small package,
Hmm.
and it's great. I love it. So the portability of things is really one of my big advances that I love right now, is being able to take your gaming on the go, and that's going to be really shown here soon with some other particular types of gaming that's coming out. Did
Let's
you want to
see.
go ahead and did you want to start on
Yeah,
that?
the Google Stadia. And for those of you that didn't hear, this week at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, Google had a press conference and they announced Stadia, their new streaming gaming platform. Now, it's not going to have a device. You're going to use anything that has Google Chrome on it. So your phone, your laptop, anything like that. Um, and it's all going to stream from their servers, and their hardware is going to do the computing. So you can have an underpowered device performing or playing a game at, they're saying 4K 60 frames per second consistently. Keep in mind, if you don't have a 4K screen, it's not going to make a difference if you're going at 4K. But it's just amazing that we're going to be able to play like an Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was the game they did a test pilot with on it, on a crappy Chromebook, a
Right.
$300 Chromebook, and they're going to have a proprietary controller that's going to connect via Wi-Fi to the network as well, and they're saying it's going to be no input lag, which is interesting.
Right. That was one thing that I thought was pretty cool, that using that controller for that no input lag, because that's a big one. You look at the fact that they are relying on your internet to push back your input. If you have bad internet, you're pretty much screwed. But with that controller, I don't know what the technology is that they're using to ensure that there's no lag there, but it'd be it's very interesting. But yeah, Christian was saying, she's talking about the graphics on the Switch, wishing they could be better, and it's understandable. The graphics aren't as good as say with a Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, but you're also looking at the fact that you're able to take it wherever you want and that screen now.
Especially in handheld mode, it's only a 720p screen.
Right.
You're not going to notice the difference between 720 and 1080 or 4K on something that's small.
Right. Now in docked mode, it does, it does scale up to the 1080.
For some games, yeah.
For some games, yeah. And I agree, it would be nice to have better graphics, but that's one thing about the Nintendo, is that their games aren't really meant for, to be the really high-end, realistic graphics. That's not what Nintendo's known for.
They're all about the stylized graphics.
Right, and so it doesn't need that extra graphic power necessarily. Now, when you're talking about bringing in the third-party AAA games, then you look at the difference between playing like Skyrim, say on PS4 versus it. Yes, there's definitely a difference.
But Skyrim is still pretty gorgeous on Switch, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. Now, I haven't played oh dang it, Doom or Wolfenstein. Well, actually, Doom's not even out yet.
Well, no, the first Doom's on Switch. I played them both.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking of Doom Eternal, but yeah.
I didn't care for Doom, but that was more because of the game. Too arcadey for me.
See, I love that aspect of it.
But Wolfenstein, I played through the whole story and loved it.
On the Switch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I played the first of the newer Wolfensteins, but that was on either Xbox or PS4. I can't remember which.
Yeah, I played the other ones on Xbox.
Oh shoot, Eric Whitney. What's up, brother? He was a buddy I served with back at Fort Campbell.
So what do you guys think? Will Stadia be a good console?
Awesome. But anyways, yeah, will Stadia be a good console? So we got that poll up there for you. If you don't know too much about it, it is a very interesting concept. And in some ways, some of it has already been implemented before. I mean, you look at NVIDIA has their Shadow Play, stuff like that. That is very similar. I'm thinking Google's really going to do a better job of implementing it, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're quite ready for it yet.
There's still some questions out there, though, that a lot of people have. One, how much is it going to cost? Because there's no hardware. Is it going to be a subscription service? Is it just going to be that you buy the games from the Google Play Store instead of Steam or the Epic Store or the PlayStation Store?
I don't see that being a possibility. To buy the game through them and them get enough extra money to be able to then maintain their servers and everything, I just don't see them being able to sell them at regular retail and get enough to maintain all that, to get enough profits for it. I think they're going to have some subscription.
And how are they going to have the right internet speeds?
Well, yeah, that's going to be determined on where you live, really.
Yeah, and they're saying that the 4K at 60 frames per
25
second.
25 down is what you'll need.
30 was on
30?
their side.
Okay.
Yeah, 30 megabit per second, and that is megabits, not megabytes. So that's one good thing at least. Something that a lot of people get confused about is whether the big B or little b. Big B is megabytes, which is 8 megabits. Little b. So in most, at least from what I know, most ISPs, they always put their amount at bits. So like the 1 gigabit per second internet is not a gigabyte, which is actually what your your storage is measured in bytes and everything. But yeah, so it's one of those. I mean, 30 megabit per second is not that unrealistic for the majority. It's really the low population areas, the rural areas that are going to have the issues. You get into some well-developed suburbs and stuff, you're going to have the ability to get it. Now,
I want to say I think through Spectrum I have something. It might even be 100 down. It's
that's what I have. Yeah, I go through Spectrum as well, and I had the 100 megabit down and 10 megabit up. Which that's the one thing that bugs me is they don't their upload speed is so much lower. Now, I'm hoping at some point in time we can get Google Fiber or something out here because I live in a fairly large city area, Dayton, Ohio, and it's just it still doesn't have it, and it should. And and I would love it. I want that one gigabit. Now, Spectrum's actually already talking about releasing their gigabit internet. So we'll see how long it takes for them to actually get it out to this area. But I'm hoping soon because I mean, really, even with just 100 megabit per second, I don't really have much in the way of a problem.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
multiple devices going and stuff. It's not the internet that's causing the problem; it's the devices or whatever. But yeah, so I'm thinking, Stadia itself, I am really excited to see what it's like. I don't know if it's going to be great right out the bat. I mean, it is one, such an advanced technology. It could be uh, pretty interesting.
Yeah. Now, one thing I found interesting is that, sorry, I was reading the comments. Jade Raymond from Assassin's Creed fame is now the VP of gaming at Google, and they're going to make first-party games, and the quality of those I think is going to be what brings a buy-in.
Yeah.
And you might get third-party developers, like an EA that say, no, we don't want to put our games on there.
Right.
So,
And it's very much like the Nintendo, if the Wii U did not do so well, so the third party support didn't happen. If Stadia starts off not doing that well, they're not going to get the third party support and it's going to crash and burn, just like the Wii
yeah.
U. If they can actually show that it's a good, stable platform,
Viable platform, yeah.
right, that customers are going to go to, then they're going to be getting that third party support. They're going to be able to use all that extra funds to make it even better and get more people in. And it's really that that first year it's out is really going to determine whether it actually survives or not.
Yeah.
But you do need to give it that year to see if it's going to survive or not. So therefore, it's like, do you wait and see or not? And the problem with that is if you wait, if everybody just waits to see how it's going to do, nobody's buying it, and it's going to crash and burn. So yeah.
Now I did see something, and I didn't look into it. I should have. Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, was implied like, you think Stadia's impressive, just wait. And I think Microsoft is gonna have something similar.
Oh yeah.
But they've already got the stable of games, and I think, and they've already got a fan base with Xbox. Right. So the Microsoft E3 conference just got a lot more exciting.
Right. Well, and this is something I've betted on for a while now, is that they're going to, with this next gen, and this is something I think we talked about this before, George, is possibly even as early as holiday season this year, we could see a new Xbox out, and I'm thinking they're going to do have two different consoles, one that is strictly for digital content alone. And I'm wondering if that's going to be now that Stadia's come out, I've started to wonder, are they going to implement streaming video games through that itself?
Yeah, I don't know. There is very good rumors. I think it was Windows Central reported that supposedly in May the Xbox One S all digital will be out.
Oh, really?
It's a weird name because it's the Xbox One SAD.
Oh, okay.
S all digital, SAD. Probably not a good choice of name.
Yeah. No.
But that'll be interesting, especially if that comes in sub 200. Like if it hits shelves at 150.
Right. That's going to bring in a lot of people to play.
Yeah, especially with Game Pass, getting a lot of bigger name games.
Oh yeah, Yeah, Keith, they didn't actually say anything about the price yet. There's no indication of what it's going to cost. We don't even know if it's going to be a subscription based or if they're just going to have you go and buy things off of Google Play or something like that.
Yeah.
It could be it could go either way. I'm thinking more along the lines of a subscription service. Personally, I think that's the way they'll go, and I that's the way I hope they go. Honestly, um, I don't like the fact that you wouldn't then have ownership of a game specifically, but at the same time, uh, I think that would be the best way for them to do it for the company. That then could help improve later on their platform.
I agree. Let's talk about some other advances recently before we move on.
Yep.
Digital gaming is becoming more and more prevalent over
Yep.
the years. I've pretty much gone all digital. It's been whenever Division 1 came out. Like once I got an Xbox
Oh, yeah.
One, I went almost all digital exclusively.
Yeah.
The only time I get physical disc now, like it was my PS4 came with Spider-Man, and I was
Mhm.
kind of bummed it was the physical disc.
Really?
Um,
I'm old school. I love my physical copies. I'm getting
I
to
don't
that
have room
point.
for them. That's my
And,
thing.
and that's understandable. That's something that I do agree with. I like the digital aspect to not take up the room, but I don't know, something about getting that disc, going to the store, buying it, bringing it home, cracking open the seal, and putting that disc in there just feels good to me. I just love that.
You're
But
not
you know,
alone.
right. I also grew up in that age.
So did I.
Yeah. Uh, and it's just like that's just how it was for so long. But I'm finally coming around to see all the benefits of going digital, and so I've the last few games like Devil May Cry and all that I bought digital, and I gotta say it is pretty nice not to have to worry about the disc and everything. Now that's one thing about Stadia that streaming it I'm really excited about. Not the fact that it's digital, but the fact that you don't have to download anything. That is one of my biggest issues with digital content, or was anyways, was that you had to download everything. It took
You got
forever.
to do that. You got to do that on PlayStation and Xbox One with discs now.
And that's why I said it used to be one of my big issues, because
Once
now
I realized that, that's when I went all digital.
it's like, well, what was it was it Division 2 or one of the recent ones? You put the disc in, you have like an 80 GB download.
Red Dead.
No, was that Red Dead?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think Red Dead was that much. Because I have it. Oh well, I got digital anyways. Never mind.
On PlayStation 4, I think it was a 90 gig patch.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to talk about is, before we move on, virtual reality and augmented reality are now viable in-home options for the first time. We've seen virtual reality in the past. It was in the 90s, but it was never to the point where people could really afford, the common person could really afford to have it in their homes.
Right. And now you're looking at it, and it's becoming so much cheaper. And I don't have a VR currently, but I keep debating on it. I'm waiting until next gen now to see what comes out. I'm really waiting because they need more input from us. I like the VR with the hand the controllers, whatever, the wands or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's
the motion
good.
controls.
Right.
The
That's
move
pretty
controls.
good, but I want something that like I'm telling you, soon enough, you're going to have the platforms. I've been seeing some that look really cool where you can actually run and crouch and stuff while standing on a platform. So you actually don't need, first off, you don't need a whole ton of room to be actually jumping around. You're literally right on this thing, running in place and stuff like that. And it takes that input. I want that. That's what I want. Once we have that, I'm sold. I'm going straight to VR, and that's it. Because that to me is just awesome.
Yeah. You've also got augmented reality has made a splash
Take
recently.
care, Keith. Sorry, he was saying he was taking off.
Right on. Hey, Travis, how you doing? Travis is a buddy of mine from the army.
Oh, nice.
Augmented reality has also become pretty popular. Pokemon Go is absurd. How many people still play it?
I do. Every once in a while. I don't get out and do it very much, but every once in a while I'll go out to the park and go for a walk.
Yeah, it's a very, very low-tech way to have an interactive experience in gaming that we didn't have even 5 years ago.
Right. And there was this one Kickstarter, well, it wasn't on Kickstarter, it was on one of the other ones. But anyways, and it actually came with, is it down here or upstairs? It must be upstairs. Sorry, my desk is a little messed up, but it has an attachment for your phone, a Bluetooth device, and it actually made your phone into a gun basically, so you could go
yeah,
out.
I saw that.
And it's really cool. The concept is great. It didn't get the advertising it needed. It sold pretty well, honestly, but then the company did a horrible job. An absolutely horrible job. Like, the device itself, the game itself is actually really cool, but they postponed it so much without giving us like any type of feedback and stuff like that. And so people just lost interest in it. By the time I got it, it was like I didn't have anybody I wanted to play with. I didn't, nobody else was interested in it, and it's just like now it just sits there. And it's like, but it's such a great, a unique way of playing a game, and I want more like that. I mean, basically, it was like laser tag for your phone.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we can both agree there's been a lot of changes in the last few years in gaming, and we're excited to see what's coming up around the corner. Let's get a quick word from our sponsor, though.
Yes.
It's here. Mountain Mist. You might be wondering, what does Mountain Mist taste like exactly? Well, it's a cool, crisp, lemon-lime beverage. It's like the dew falling from a leaf on an early morning sunrise. Feels exhilarating, like summiting a snowy mountain peak. You know, it's a true taste experience. It's just that good.
And you're back.
All right. Well, now on to our monthly topic, some of our favorite action movies of all time. Daniel, why don't you start it off?
Okay, I'll start off with a newer one. It was out, 2-3 years ago, something like that. It came out. Central Intelligence. First off, I love The Rock. Just in general, think he's awesome. And Kevin Hart. And together, they were absolutely hilarious. It was just a good, fun, entertaining action movie. Kind of, reminiscent of some of the older 80s and 90s action movies, but just with a lot of really good humor, in my opinion. I love it. I think, as far as newer action movies go, they did a great job of it.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't watch many movies.
Yeah, that one, it's just so much fun. They crack me up every time. And you gotta understand, The Rock in it, he started off, like it shows him in high school, as this big, fat, chubby dude, like just gets picked on, thrown around. And then next thing you know, he's, The Rock, as we know him now. But he's still just a big nerd who hates bullies and wears a unicorn t-shirt. He loves unicorns. So, but it's The Rock, it just, he plays it off so well. It's great. It was a great movie. Definitely worth a good watch. Yes, I do, Christian. Yeah.
Now, one of my favorites, and it's kind of typecast this character, Liam Neeson, is Taken. Because ever since he did Taken, basically every movie he's made has been Taken. Whether it's a direct sequel or something else, he's playing the same character.
Yes.
But it was a really good action movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I loved all three. Well, actually, I don't. Have I seen this?
I haven't seen the sequels.
I saw two. It was pretty good too.
The third one.
I Will Find You and I Will Kill You.
Yes.
You know,
just such an iconic. Yeah.
He's. Go ahead, Kenny.
The third one, they killed his wife. So.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Well, ex-wife or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's how it started.
Yeah, it's it's kind of unfortunate that he's been typecast in that role now, because he's such a great actor, and he did a wide range of movies before that.
Oh yeah,
I really like it.
But...
A Walk Among the Tombstones, Taken 6.
Yeah.
What's the one where he's in Alaska? His son gets kidnapped, and he's the tow truck driver.
It's not the snowplow driver. That's
snowplow
not
driver.
Cold Shoulder. It's something like that, though.
I haven't seen that.
Whatever. Cold Shoulder, Taken 25.
Yeah, it just came out. Daniel, is out 2 or 3 months ago in the theaters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
So his son dies of a drug overdose, but his son wasn't on drugs, and so he goes into revenge mode.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's Taken.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
All right, what's next on your list?
Well, got to go back a ways. I'm kind of on an Arnold Schwarzenegger kick. I got to go with the original Total Recall. I have not seen the new one, so I can't compare it to it, but I'm not a big fan of remakes. I like sequels, from movies from long ago. I'm really excited about Bill and Ted's, what's it called?
Excellent Adventure.
Well, no, I'm the new one
Face
is
the Music.
Face the Music. I knew it was music, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that because it's not a remake; it's an actual sequel. But so I never watched the remake of Total Recall, but the original. That was just a great action sci-fi, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I mean, that is its own genre, is Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And that one, it was great. Just if you like sci-fi, if you like action, futuristic stuff, oh, so good, so good.
Yeah,
definitely.
I really like it.
Kids.
It was one of the first movies I bought on Blu-ray.
I agree, Christian. Never. The remakes are never as good as originals.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't.
I know
I can't think of one that's a direct remake. Now,
probably True Grit. True Grit was probably good, as good, if not better, than the original. Jeff Bridges is a better actor than John Wayne was.
Excuse me? No. No,
All right, let's pull this. Let's pull this.
All right. Anyways,
who's better?
Yes.
We're gonna pull this.
It's
who's
the
better?
dude. No question. Come on, the Jeff Bridges really over the Duke now.
Yeah.
No. Never.
And I watched one other one.
I will say the new True Grit was pretty good though.
Yeah.
Not as good as the original, but it was good.
He did a good job. The next movie I want to talk about is from one of my all-time favorite movie series, the James Bond series, and that's Spectre. I know a lot of people didn't care for Spectre. It was the latest installment in the Bond franchise. But that opening scene in Mexico City, with all the destruction, the opening scene in any James Bond movie, like, that's going to set the tone for the rest of the movie. If it has a crappy opening scene, chances are it's going to be a crappy movie.
Right.
But I thought Spectre had a great opening scene.
Have not seen it, so I can't really say. I like we were saying earlier. I like James Bond. I enjoy the movies and everything, but I never got huge into them. The originals, the classics, I mean, obviously, uh, the Sean Connery, loved him, but I just the newer ones, they've gotten almost to me, they've gotten a little stale. Like it's the same thing over and over and over again in a lot of ways to me. Is how I've seen it. Now I haven't seen the last two. What was the one before Spectre?
Skyfall.
Yeah, I haven't seen Skyfall.
Skyfall's really good as well.
Is it? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed like Casino Royale and all those. They were good, but they've just gotten kind of stale to me.
Well, they've gone away from the fancy, crazy gadgetry, and gone with a more realistic approach.
Right, which kind of stinks because I like the gadgetry.
Yeah, I do like the gadgetry too. It was a bit absurd in some of the movies. Oh, was it for Your Eyes Only when the car turns into the submarine?
Oh, no, that was
The Spy Who Loved Me.
Was that Spy Who Loved Me?
Yeah, it was one of the Roger Moore ones. I'm not a fan of the Roger Moore ones.
Yeah. He's their own. I mean, I don't know.
And the ones with Pierce Brosnan, like some of the stuff got a little over the top. The watch lasers and all that jazz.
Yeah. Oh, those were the most over the top, in my opinion. I mean, but that's kind of what made them fun to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, but a lot of movies try to be too realistic, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's like they're for entertainment purposes. If who cares if you're literally using a watch to cut through a door or whatever. It's like, come on, so what? It's a movie.
Yeah, I really like Spectre. It's got. I would be surprised if it's not on Amazon, Netflix, or Hulu right now.
Okay.
So you should check it out. It's really good. Christopher Waltz plays an awesome Blofeld.
Yeah. Who is that?
Christoph Waltz. He was the villain in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Shoot, he's an amazing bad guy.
Yeah. I really liked it, and they've had a lot of hiccups, both with keeping Daniel Craig or finding a new Bond, and I think the director recently got fired, but I'm really waiting for a new one.
Yeah.
It's been 3 or 4 years at least.
Really, Spectre's been out that long.
Wow. I think so. I'm gonna look it up real quick, but I think so. Yeah.
I heard that they're looking at Idris
4 years.
Elba to be the new Bond.
Yeah, I saw that too. Idris Elba.
Really?
I think 10 years ago he would have been fine, but now he's around the same age, if not older, than Daniel Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Is he?
And at that point, how many more is he going to be able to do? 1 or 2? I want to get the next Bond in there for a good 5 or 6 movies.
Right.
So.
No. Alrighty.
Yeah, I did see an article that predicting the next 5 candidates for the next James Bond. Mm-hmm. And there was do you remember I told you a few months ago I was watching that show Grantchester about the Anglican priest that solves crimes as a detective?
No, I don't remember you talking about that.
I think I talked about it on the podcast.
I think you mentioned it with Rashawn last week.
No, it's been a while since I watched it, so it was back in like November. But
yeah, I don't.
Like the lead in that is one of the guys they're predicting could be the next James Bond, and I think he'd do a good job. So
interesting.
All right, what's your next movie?
All right. Well, staying on my Arnold Schwarzenegger kick, I gotta go with one of my all-time favorite action movies growing up. I mean, this is old. This is like early 80s. Mm-hmm. I think. Yeah, it was in the 80s came out, and that is Commando. That movie is the epitome of action, like 80s action. With it was what's her name, the actress, Alyssa Milano, is as his daughter, and it's basically the think of Taken, but done even better because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. But and the one-liners are so amazing. Just let off some steam, Bennett. If you ever watch it, let off some steam, Bennett is just like one of my all-time favorite one-liners ever.
Stick
And
around.
Do you think he had so many famous one-liners early in his movies because his English was that bad?
probably he's got had, I should say, limited way vocabulary, and so they would have to be short one-liners because he couldn't remember everything else, So they give him these short little one-liners, but he perfected actually putting them out there, like just the way he says it is just freaking. And yes, it's a little on the wooden side at times, but it just works for him.
I think the first Conan movie, he doesn't actually say anything; it's all just grunts.
Right. I tell you what, you want to talk about an old Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he pretty much doesn't say anything? It's called The Villain.
The Villain.
Okay, The Villain. And think of those old, like, Bugs Bunny cartoons, or, well, even before Bugs Bunny, I think, or, well, along the same lines of, you got the villain with the handlebar mustache, really skinny and all in black, and the good guy's, trying to save the woman while the bad guy ties up the girl and puts her on the train tracks.
Yeah.
Literally, that scene is in the movie. Like that, exactly like that. It is so horrible. It's great. That movie, it's just, the acting was absolutely ridiculous for everybody, pretty much. But it was just over the top, exactly like those types of cartoons. And I loved it. But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger's awesome.
Yeah, he is. He's a treasure. The last action movies I want to talk about for this week are the Star Wars episodes 1 through 3. I know a lot of people hate them and they groan and roll their eyes. They have not only some of the best the best lightsaber fighting in any Star Wars movie, but the space combat action scenes are just unreal.
You're right. You cannot deny that. Absolutely. The acting sucks by a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them did phone it in.
Right. I mean, that's my biggest, really my only big complaint with it was the acting.
Yeah.
I think, obviously the graphics were amazing. The battles were just epic. Like you were saying, the lightsaber. I mean, shoot, with Darth Maul, man, that was awesome. That was amazing.
Geonosis, when they've got the monsters trying to eat Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme.
Right.
The battle with General Grievous.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Order 66 gets executed.
Yeah. I tell you, I definitely enjoy those movies. I do. You can't compare them to 4, 5, and 6, though. I mean, you can't.
I don't know. I think I actually enjoy them more.
Anyway, now, when I say you can't compare them, I'm saying they are. It's almost like, to me, they are like two separate entities. They don't belong together, if that makes sense.
I agree to a certain extent. And you want to talk about the acting. The acting in the original 3 wasn't great either. And George Lucas could write a story, but he could not write dialogue.
Well, and this is the thing. All right, a lot of my opinions on it are because of my nostalgia. Yeah, I'm sorry. I grew up, with the original 3.
Oh, so did I.
Right.
So did I.
And I can, and that's why I can say I enjoy episodes 1 through 3. I do. I absolutely enjoy them. But that's because I can separate them from the originals. Because if you start comparing them and everything, I have too much nostalgia, too much love for the first 3 to be able to like the 1 through 3 better. I just can't do it. But
I like them all.
Absolutely. I have not seen a Solo Story yet.
You know, I have it, and I keep trying to watch it, but then I'm like, you know, I have laundry to do. There's always something that comes up. Oh, I have to go to the groceries.
It's actually really good, and if you
I liked what I saw. I saw probably the first half an hour.
well,
Oh,
and
really?
here's the other thing: if you close your eyes and just listen to it, you actually kind of think it's Harrison Ford that's playing solo.
Really? That's interesting.
His voice is very similar.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, and at some point in time I'll watch it. I mean, it's on Netflix. Last I saw.
Yeah.
So I'll get on there and watch it at some point. Maybe I'll put it on while playing some World of Warcraft today. Yay!
I want to talk about some recent releases and upcoming news stuff like that. During GDC this week, Xbox and Nintendo announced that Cuphead is coming to the Nintendo Switch in April, and it's going to have Xbox Live support, which is interesting. We'll keep an eye on that, because does that mean more games like Ori and the Blind Forest come to the Switch?
Who knows? Real quick, Christian, yes, absolutely, I agree. The casting was absolutely horrid for episodes 1 through 3. Just talking about Star Wars.
Well,
now
they had Sam Jackson. They didn't let him drop the F-bomb once.
Right, which, hey, props to them for being able to keep them, down to the PG or PG-13 rating. But Liam Neeson did a good job. I'll give him that.
Ewan McGregor was a phenomenal Obi-Wan.
Oh well, yeah, yes, no, he's one absolutely, but.
And I think Hayden Christensen did a good job of being a torn and angsty late teen, early 20-year-old.
He just so emo and so I couldn't get into it. Later on, maybe in the movies, but yeah, just I don't know.
Anyways,
the little kid, whatever his name.
Yeah. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice just came out yesterday on the Xbox and PlayStation 4.
Which I almost bought. That looks really cool.
For the fans of Dark Souls,
right. Or Bloodborne.
Bloodborne,
or
yeah. The Soulsborne games.
Yeah.
I saw on Twitter the other day, some guy beat all 5 games back to back, all 5 consecutively, without getting hit one time.
Wow. That is, wow. Yeah, but that's Sekiro. It looks really cool. The combat looks crazy. I was actually reading up about it, how they, although, yes, it is, the difficulty aspect of it is still very much like the Souls and Born game. It's, the rest of it's completely different. The story's supposed to be better. And
if it has a story, period, it's better than the other ones.
Well, the story from the other ones were told more through the atmosphere and through the environment. Right. Yeah. Whereas this one, it actually does have, your character has a story. But it's the swordplay mechanics are supposed to be phenomenal from the reviews I've read. So I might pick it up at some point in time, but not yet. But like I said, right now I'm getting ready to play some WoW. So
yeah,
and I still have to be Devil May Cry.
I read from PC Gamer, I think it was, that Disney is reactivating Lucasfilm's games or LucasArts games.
Yeah.
So that means they're gonna give them the Star Wars license once their with EA is done. So LucasArts made some really, really bad Star Wars games.
True. But
probably more than they made good ones, to be fair.
I don't know enough of them to say whether you're right or not. And really, I didn't get to play very much of them. I mean, obviously KOTOR and things like that.
KOTOR wasn't LucasArts. That was BioWare.
Or not KOTOR. What was the other RPG-esque one that Lucasfilm?
Academy? Jedi Knight?
The Jedi Academy.
Yeah, they're okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
One of them was on Games with Gold last month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did I pick that up? Yeah, no, I did pick that up. Yeah.
And I think this month is Republic Commando.
Is that this month?
Mhm.
Yep.
Like in March.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I picked that up. Yeah. That's
So
right.
that'll be interesting to see what they do. I just
Mhm.
want another Rogue Squadron game.
Right.
There's one other thing I wanted to mention.
The Spider-Man comic strip.
Is Spider-Man comic strip. So the Amazing Spider-Man has been in comic strip in Sunday morning newspapers syndicated for the last 47 years, but that's coming to an end.
Yeah.
So I've
It's,
never seen it. I was surprised that it was in comic strips or
Oh,
newspapers.
I've seen some of them. Just like looking around online or whatever, and caught some here and there. Someone posted one, but yeah, I mean, obviously, it wasn't in my area.
Yeah.
Because it was mainly in New York. I think was primarily where it was at.
Gotcha.
But I don't know where else it might be. Maybe out in like San Francisco or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I know what I was going to mention. Netflix has had 2 new movies come out recently. Was it last week? I think they had Triple Frontier, the
Mhm.
action movie with Ben Affleck and
oh yeah,
Charlie Hunnam. It's okay.
is it okay?
Yeah, I watched it. It didn't impress me.
Yeah.
You want to talk about some bad acting, bad delivery of lines? Charlie Hunnam's English or American accent is atrocious at best. And then just I think yesterday or Thursday, Dirt, the Motley Crue story came out.
Oh yeah. I heard about that. I've actually seen Motley Crue in concert.
Nice.
Yeah,
Not a big fan of theirs, but I'm gonna watch the movie tonight, I think.
it was Kiss and Motley Crue together. I got to see them, and that was an amazing show. They really, and Motley Crue, I think they put on a lot better show than Kiss did. Honestly, just their presence, their stage presence is awesome.
It's
And
incredible what an additional 15 years in youth will do for you too.
Right. But oh yeah, it was such a good show. But yeah, my cousin was talking about the Motley Crue show. He was watching it and drinking some bourbon last night. He was saying.
Right on.
But,
And a couple other things I want to touch on. Right now we've got a raffle for the Xbox One X Fallout 76 bundle on the Alpha Nerds Guild page. You can go in there and enter for your chance to win that amazing bundle.
Absolutely, $10 a ticket.
$10. Yeah.
And if you win
All
that,
proceeds
you
go
also
back to
get
the guild.
you win that, you get the Xbox One X, and you get some Brain Bridge from
Yeah.
Brain
Man
Bridge,
Sports.
yep, from Man Sports. Yep.
Sports. Mm-hmm.
We've
And
also-
all proceeds go towards the nonprofit to help supply consoles for vets, Leos, all them that anybody that
First
has-
responders.
first responders, those dealing with issues and stuff. It's really good charity. If you haven't, go check it out, alphanerdsguild.com, and go check out that charity. It is amazing, and you can go on there and you can donate. Just
Yep.
without buying raffle tickets, or you can buy the raffle tickets. But and they do. There is a subscription.
Yep, a recurring donation.
Yes.
So if you want to help the guild, but you don't, you're not a streamer, you're not one of the writers, you're not on the mod team, you can donate a couple bucks a month and it'll just come out of your account. And
Literally, you could just do $1 a month.
Yep.
And you would be really surprised how much that $1 a month actually helps. So please, if you can, do it. So definitely.
We got a console going out later today.
Oh, nice.
And she is our first female recipient.
Awesome.
That's got the console. She's going to pick it out, and when she sends me the pictures, John will post it.
Awesome.
But yeah, so every dollar helps. Every dollar helps go to bring people together. Last week we got a testimonial from a guy that said, "Hey, thank you for helping me. My doctor's seen significant changes in me because I've joined this group and I've been able to start talking to people online. I don't know anybody near me, but I feel better about being around people that I can talk to."
Yeah, it is. It's such a great thing. I mean, the support team, the peer support. I know they've helped so many people out there.
Hmm.
You go through the Facebook page and you see it's like someone just like put out there, hey, I'm struggling or whatever, and automatically you're seeing peer support come up. Hey, I just PM'd you, we got your back, or just regular members going on there and say, hey, there is a peer support. Go here and contact these people, and you can they'll talk to you, get you some help, and it's such a great group, well worth helping out, donating to.
Yep. And one last thing, we've got 4-day, the 4 badges Thursday through Sunday for PAX East in Boston next week. The set of 4 is available now for the first come first served basis. Whoever donates $100 to the guild, they're a hot commodity. And if you like gaming and you're in the New England area and you want to check it out, it's gonna be a good time.
Yep, absolutely. So, is there a link on the Facebook or the website to do that? Do they have something on there, or is it just through the
Through the group page?
Through the group page there on Facebook? Yep. Okay, that's what I thought. But my brother joined. Hey, Kev. Yeah, right at the end of it.
That's all I got for this week. What about you?
Shoot, there was something, and now I can't think of it. I blame my brother.
Little or older?
He's older than me. I'm the youngest.
Damn,
I'm the
older
baby.
brothers.
Yeah, but he's a gamer too, although he doesn't get to play too much lately. He's definitely a Nintendo fanboy like me, so.
Right on.
Right on. Join the club.
Yep, right. But all right, yeah, I think that's it from me.
Until
nerds, thanks for joining us.
Until next week.
Absolutely.